Happy Halloween. I know I'm a day late here. Halloween theoretically should have been yesterday if I get this out on time. I'm really excited to get into this video. I know I missed a week. I'm sorry. My entire family got sick again. It has just not been the year for us for this. One after the other. Last time I think it was the flu. This time it was COVID. And we each got it. I got it, then my husband got it, then my daughter got it, and we're finally coming through. I could see the light. And so I was very excited to finally get to put this video together for you. Now, in this particular video, what I'm actually going to do, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I have a couple similar videos planned. Compare some drugstore mousses. But what I'm going to actually do is compare two from the same brand. So these are both from Pantene. One of them is supposed to give you volume, whereas the other one's supposed to give you more curl definition. I want to test them both out, see if they're different, see if they hold up to their claims, and see which one I recommend, if either. So let's go ahead and get into this. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Lena, and welcome to my bathroom. And if you do like wavy curly hair content like this, please do like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. For those of you who have been around for a while, you know that when this door is open, that means that my dog is in here with me, at least one of them. Today is my youngest, my puppy. So if you stick around, I'll try to find some time to throw in a video of her back here. She's very cute and sleepy. Now, when I do these kind of comparisons, I actually like to show you my results first. The reason I do that is because it's really easy to have an opinion based off of which one that you want to like better. You tell yourself, well, I really need volume in my hair, so obviously I'm gonna like the volume one more, and you just find more things to like about it, and then you dislike the other one more. But if you don't know which product is for which wash day, it helps you kind of decide based off of appearance more than anything else. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna show you wash day number one. And here is wash day number two. Now, before we get into the bulk of the video, drop a comment down below. Let me know which one is your favorite, and let me know if it's changed by the end of the video. Starting off, I want to talk about both of these products and get into kind of the product itself, talking about what they're claiming, a little bit on the ingredients, things like the texture, the smell, and stuff like that. Starting off, both of these products range somewhere around $6. It depends on when and where you buy them, but they are pretty widely available, especially the curly one, I believe. I think the curly one is more available than the volume one, but you can still find both of these at places like Target. You can find them at grocery stores, drugstores, Walmarts, things like that. Now let's talk about what they're saying on these products. They're saying for the volume one that it's a volume and body mousse that is supposed to add body and lift with a soft touch. They're saying it's a lightweight foam that lifts and volumizes to give body, bounce, and movement to fine hair, helps block humidity, keep hair from falling flat, and leaves a soft finish without any stickiness. Touching very briefly on the ingredients here, I do see why they're saying this could be anti-humidity. There's a lot of hold ingredients in here. I see polyquat 11, PPP, BPVA copolymer, polyquaternium 16. So they have a lot of those in there. Beyond that, I'm not really seeing a ton in here that's going to give you moisture. So I would say that this is the kind of product that if you find your hair tends to lean more on the dry side, you're not going to want to use that alone. I did use both of these alone, so we will talk about that. Talking about the curly mousse, they say this is for soft curls. It's a shaping mousse. It's meant to define curls and control frizz. And then on the back, they're saying again that it's a lightweight foam that supports curly hair structure to boost curls and guard against frizz. Curls are soft, defined, and manageable even in high humidity. Now this one I don't get quite as much because the only hold ingredient I'm actually seeing in here is polyquaternium 11. I'm not entirely sure how much hold this is going to give you in comparison. It does look like based off ingredients, the volume one is going to give you more hold than the curly one. Beyond that, again, there's not really a lot in here that I'm seeing is going to give you any form of moisture to your hair, maybe just a little bit. And I really don't know enough about ingredients to tell you what is making this one different, that it's going to give you more curl definition. The last thing that I wanted to know on both of these when it comes to ingredients, there's two things, one of which is they're both silicone free, which is definitely a positive. Now, the downside is they do both have methylparaben in them. So that is a paraben, and I know a lot of people are trying to avoid parabens because there's some studies that say that it might be a carcinogen. I have so many that I don't use them super frequently, so I'm not personally concerned about that because I can just kind of cycle through products. But if you're looking for a product that you can use every single wash day and you're a little concerned about that, these might not be the products for you. Beyond that, let's talk about the texture and the smell of these. So starting off here, we have the Volume Mousse. I'm gonna try and get just a little bit here. And then the curly one is gonna be on my fingertips. Okay. Starting off smell-wise, they both smell about the same. It's kind of a hard one to explain. The best way I can think of to describe it is kind of like berry, kind of slightly fruity, really mainly just sweet. Texture-wise, the bounce test, they feel about the same. Okay, now we're gonna kind of break them down here. So this is again the volume one. You can see as I work it, it does kind of work down. It goes away, not so foamy. And this one does feel kind of serumy. So it feels a little on the thicker side, kind of a watery texture that's a little thicker. And rinse off my fingers. And now going into the curly one. This one does feel slightly airier. Again, it breaks down. And then this one doesn't feel quite as serumy. It feels a little bit more watery, so not quite as thick. Let's talk briefly about the wash days. I'm going to run through both of these wash days pretty quickly here. I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I do want to talk very briefly. So for both of them, they were very similar. I washed my hair in the shower, detangled with a conditioner, and then got out of the shower. I didn't put any leave-in conditioner in my hair, just sectioned it into 3 before going in with the products. Wash day number 1, I did go in with the Volume Mousse, took a little bit of this in my hand, worked in between, raked it into that bottom section. It seemed to apply very, very well to my hair. I could feel it in my hair, which is nice, because if a product kind of vanishes into your hair, it could be kind of hard to tell how much to use. So I really liked that about this product. It applied really well, had some good slip to it. I don't know how this would work to detangle my hair because I didn't try it that way, but I could see it doing okay. And then I did go in with my Balance Curl Defining Brush to define that bottom section. And again, the brush worked through very easily. Wash day number 2, I went in with a curly mousse. I took some of it in my hand after sectioning my hair into 3, applied it to that bottom section. And again, it was a very similar story. I could feel this in my hair. I could tell when I had enough of it. And it was slippery enough that it applied very easily. It was really easy to work with. And my Bounce Curl Defining Brush did slide through my hair very easily as well. So with both of these, I worked up through the top of my head using my defining brush before going in with my Perfect Hair Care towel to micropop my hair and then taking more of the product. So on wash day number 1, more of the Volume Mousse. On wash day number 2, taking more of the curly mousse, applying to that my hair and scrunching it in before going in with my diffuser. Now, the nice thing about mousses, especially if you don't layer a bunch of products underneath or over the top of them, my hair seems to dry much more easily. I think I still probably blow dried for about the same amount of time, probably somewhere around 20 minutes, but normally that leaves my hair about 80 to 90% dry. This left it more like 95. So with both of these routines, I clipped my hair up with Curl Keeper clips before letting it finish air drying the rest of the way. When we talk about the cast on both of these products, both of them did leave a very minor cast on my hair. It wasn't very strong, but I could definitely feel a tiny bit of crispiness to it. And by the time I came back later to scrunch out the crunch on both of these, it had softened up and was just completely gone. With both of these products, I went in, I pulled the clips down, I fluffed my hair up. And starting off again, this is wash day number 1, now that you know, with the Volume Mousse. And this is wash day number 2 with a curling mousse. Let's compare. I love this part of the video because it's always interesting to see them side by side and talk about how they actually differ. Starting off with volume. Did the volume mousse actually give me more volume? My personal thoughts were no. I feel like these both gave me about the same level of volume. Now I have a theory about that. Some of it comes down to hair type. Because I have a wavier texture on top, I feel like the volume mousse didn't give me much texture up there, which tends to mean that that lays a little flatter, and so I don't get as much volume. However, the curly mousse gave me more texture in those wavy areas, and so I feel like I got a little bit more volume out of it. Editing Lena here, a couple of days later with my messy bun in my hair and no makeup at all, but that's okay. I was going back through the footage while I was editing and did realize that I may have misspoke. The volume mousse actually does look like it gave slightly more volume, and if not slightly more volume, at least more fullness. So it depends on your preferences on that, but it did look a little denser with the volume foam. So I wanted to drop that in here. Hope that helps. When it comes down to the amount of volume overall, I do feel like both of them gave me pretty decent levels of volume. Nothing that blew me away, but they were pretty average for me, and I was pretty happy with it. I do feel like both of these gave me more volume up, which I was happy with because that's where I tend to struggle with volume because I have silky roots. Like I said, talking about the wavy texture to my hair, the volume mousse didn't really give me as much texture up there. It gave me some, but not a whole lot, whereas the curly mousse gave me more texture up in the wavy area. So if you have wavier hair, that's something to keep in mind. Talking about the curlier sections down at the bottom, I felt like both of these actually worked pretty darn well for me. So if you were curious if one works better for actual curls than the other, I couldn't say that they did because I felt like I got pretty decent curls out of both of these. Both of these gave me curls that had some really good bounce to them. Next topic, the feel of my hair. How do these make it feel? Especially the volume one. When I think of a volume product, especially a drugstore one, I tend to think that it's going to make my hair feel kind of tacky and sticky. This actually didn't do that for me. My hair felt very light. It felt very airy, and I could barely tell the product was even in my hair. And it was the same story with the curly one. It's not like the curly one sat on my hair more. Both of them felt really good in my hair. Neither of them left my fingers coming away sticky and tacky. And then when we talk about the actual feeling in my hair, did it feel soft? Did it feel moisturized? For me personally, this left my hair feeling pretty nice and silky and happy. Beyond that, talking about the shine in my hair, I felt like both of these left my hair looking pretty shiny and looking pretty healthy. Neither one I really noticed much of a difference one way or another. Maybe the curly one was slightly shinier. Y'all will have to let me know if you noticed a difference. I didn't really notice much of one. The last thing I want to talk about here is the frizz that this left in my hair. On day one, I felt like both of these gave me about the same level of frizz, and it was kind of what I've come to expect for this time of year. It's starting to move into the drier time of year. It's not starting. It is the drier time of year now, and I tend to get a higher baseline of frizz, and this gave me pretty much the baseline of frizz that I'm used to. Let's move into discussions about longevity. How did these hold up in my hair? Let's start off talking about the Pantene Volume Mousse and how that held up for me. So coming back on day 2, there wasn't really much worth of note. I pulled my hair down, let it settle for a while, and then fluffed it up, and this is how it turned out. You can see overall, I think it still looks very pretty. It still looks good. The curls on the bottom have some good definition, spring, and bounce to them. However, up in the wavier sections, I do feel like any waves that I had fell out. Over on the left side, it looked almost straight. And then over on the right side, it still had a little bit of texture in those wavy areas, but not a whole lot. And because of that, because those waves pretty much went away and my hair was straight, it didn't give me a whole lot of volume to it. It had kind of fallen a little flat. And then the other thing that I wanted to note here was the frizz. I do feel like I had a heightened amount of frizz moving into day 2 here. So moving into the longevity on the curly mousse, that's where I'm actually at right now. These are my results. I'll give you a quick turnaround here. Okay, so talking about the appearance of this and my thoughts. Overall, I feel like this held together better. I started with more texture to it and it held that texture a little bit better despite having less ingredients in it that are giving me that hold. The curls, I still have a lot of really good texture down on the bottom as well, and they're still nice and springy and bouncy. The volume I feel like is a little bit better than it was on the volume mousse. I do feel like to some extent, some of the texture did kind of stretch out a little bit more. Even the curls down on the bottom, I feel like the curls when using the volume mousse held together a little bit better, whereas this has more texture to it, but they've kind of stretched out a little bit more. And then moving into frizz, again, I feel like this gave me a slightly heightened amount of frizz to it. I have thoughts on that I will share here in a bit when I give you my thoughts and recommendations. So let's move into that. Would I recommend either one of these products? Do I like one over the other? And do I recommend using them as one and done products? Let's start off with the one and done product. Do I recommend using these on their own? I think you could definitely get away with it. If you are someone who has more chronically dry hair than I do, you're gonna have to pair this with a leave-in conditioner or a curl cream. Next time I would try using a curl cream because curl creams do sometimes have some hold and some of this frizz could be dryness to my hair. So adding a curl cream that's gonna add some moisture as well as give some more texture to your hair and styling properties could be beneficial, and then using this as your whole product. Beyond that, preference-wise, I personally prefer the curly mousse. This all really comes down to personal preference though. I liked the curly mousse slightly better because it did give me more texture, and if that's what you're looking for in your routine is that texture, that's the one I would go for. However, the volume one still gave me some pretty good results. They didn't give me as much texture to my wavy areas, but maybe if you have curlier hair, you might like the volume one better, and maybe it might even give you a little bit more volume. Or if you were to pair the volume one with something else and use it more as your finishing product, like raking a curl cream through your hair, using that to define and then scrunch this in at the end, you might get more volume out of it than I got in my comparison here today. I'm just using these in the exact same way, but sometimes products aren't meant to be used in the exact same way. You know, we'll have to let me know which one you liked better in the comments below. Final thoughts as to whether or not I would recommend either one of these really comes down to, again, one, if you like the results that I got on either of these. Two, if you're okay with that paraben being in there, if that doesn't bother you, I would say go for it. These are really readily available. They're pretty darn cheap, easy to get. That makes them a really good product in my mind to reach for if you need a hair mousse, if you like to style with mousse. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I do have more of these type of videos in mind. The next one that I want to do is I want to compare the Herbal Essence mousses. So Herbal Essence also has a volume and a curly mousse. I want to see if I get similar results with those. And then if you have any other drugstore mousses that you'd like me to try or compare to one another, drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your feedback. I've been really into mousses lately. I feel like they're really interesting. So I'd love to know what y'all want to see. That being said, if you do like content like this, I do post a brand new video almost every single Friday. So if you do like this, please do like and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you next time. Now let's finally take a look at my puppy here sleeping on the floor.
Hi, baby. Ready to go?
You down in here? Okay, let's go.
Stretch.